So my name's Kathy, I live in Burgess Hill and I've got a little girl. The reason why I went to see Christian to start with, because I had a traumatic birth and I was really struggling to settle her. I couldn't, like especially at night, I couldn't settle her. My husband found it quite easy. I couldn't. Feeding was like so painful, and I think I left it too long. I went to see Christian at about 6 weeks. When I saw Christian, he was really, really good with Summer. Immediately went to her and was like, oh, he's just naturally good with babies, which is great. And he asked me how I was, which was nice, because obviously I had what I thought was a horrendous delivery. And I was still feeling poorly because of the antibiotics that I'd been put on and the degree of my tear. I was really quite depressed, the fact that I couldn't settle her at night. Feeding was really, really difficult. And yeah, I just needed some help, and I thought, my God, I need to just try something, and he was there. So he put a pillow on my lap and made me lie her down on my lap so she was comfortable looking at me. And then he came around the side and he kind of held her head and he did whatever he does, this cranial osteopathy that didn't look like much, but it seemed to work. And then he checked her back and said that she was a little bit out of line. And because I had a forceps delivery, he said that that can affect their neck muscles on one side. And I think that probably was why I was struggling to breastfeed. So what I was impressed with was when I told Christian about my delivery and the use of forceps, he knew immediately what the problem was with my daughter and why she wasn't feeding properly and why she wasn't sleeping. So the most amazing thing was that night we got home, I managed to give her feed, which was around 10 o'clock, and I'd normally wake up about 3 o'clock to do her feed. I remember I woke up first and I looked at the clock and it was 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, no way, I've missed a feed. And I panicked a little bit and I woke my husband up and he was like, it's not 6, it's not 6. And we were like checking our phones and I was like, oh my God. And I went over to her and she started to come to then, and she was happy as anything. And I was like, oh my God, she slept for like 7 hours straight. How is that even possible at this age, at 6 weeks old? And I just felt so good for having such a good, solid sleep for the first time in 6 weeks. And 6 weeks is a long time. The second session, which was a week later, I mentioned that I was still struggling to feed on my right hand side. She was absolutely fine on the left, but it would be really painful and she just wouldn't latch on properly on the right side. He recommended using the rugby ball position, which I hadn't quite heard of, so that was interesting, which I tried. He did obviously the second session of the cranial osteopathy on her head, and he said we just need to strengthen the other side of her neck where she was obviously pulled out quite quickly with the forceps. And I think I noticed probably more that end of that second week that she was latching on better. I did try the rugby ball and it did help. Whatever he did to strengthen those muscles, she was more happy, she was more content. And it was just not as stressful for me to breastfeed. After I saw Christian, straight away I felt confident that I'd been given some advice, and I was like, this is brilliant, I can actually do this. I felt more of a bond with her because I'd been obviously given the advice on what to do, how to feed in a different way. And I'm just really grateful for the fact that he has helped me and my daughter out so much. And if you'd asked me before I met him, oh, are you going to have another child? Hell no. After seeing Christian, I think it's really made me think you can do it. You've got the help out there from people like Christian to help you along, and it's not that scary. And yes, I probably would have another child if my husband would let me. So for any mums out there that have just had a baby and they're really struggling with breastfeeding or with the sleep overnight, getting into a routine, I would highly recommend that they contact Christian and go and see him. He'll sort their baby out. He'll just make them happy and content. Summer is the most happiest, content baby